Arctic sea ice is going away rapidly, experts say. The Arctic, an area described as Earth's refrigerator because its ice helps keep temperatures cool, continues to warm up and is unlikely to return to earlier conditions, according to an annual report card issued by top scientists. Record temperatures across the Canadian Arctic and Greenland, a reduced summer sea ice cover, and record snow cover decreases were cited as factors supporting the conclusion in the 2010 Arctic Report Card issued by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The report card tells a story of widespread, continued, and even dramatic effects of a warming Arctic, said the lead researcher, an expert at the Federal Cold Regions Research and Engineering Lab in Hanover, New Hampshire. It is increasingly unlikely, at least in the foreseeable future, that we will return to previous Arctic conditions. It is very likely warming will continue in the Arctic, and planning is urgent to adapt to the changes coming. In other words, these are still the beginnings. Past report cards have also cited warming trends the scientists acknowledged. But this last year has seen several differences. Record temperatures in Greenland, a 110 square mile piece of ice that broke off Greenland's Petermann Glacier, and a 2009-2010 winter that saw a blast of Arctic winds that went north-south instead of west-east, causing a deep freeze across the Northeast and Midwest. That latter event, which had been registered only 3 times in 160 years of records, looks like it's connecting to the warming and ice loss in the Arctic, said Jim Oberland, a NOAA scientist responsible for the report card's section on atmosphere. In Greenland, the warmth has meant accelerated flow of meltwater from glaciers into the ocean, said Jason Box, a glaciologist at Ohio State University. As a result, he added, sea level projections will need to be revised upward. The 4th annual report card was compiled from data and analysis contributed by 69 scientists in 8 countries. Beyond affecting the humans and wildlife that call the area home, the Arctic's warmer temperatures and decreases in permafrost, snow cover, glaciers, and sea ice also have wide-ranging consequences for the physical and biological systems in other parts of the world, said the NOAA chief. The Arctic is an important driver of climate and weather around the world and serves as a critical feeding and breeding ground that supports globally significant populations of birds, mammals, and fish. In other words, the Arctic is a climate indicator of climate change, global warming, whatever have you call it. But something is definitely going on. The chief also quoted a NOAA researcher in describing the Arctic's importance. Whatever is going to happen in the rest of the world happens first, and to the greatest extent in the Arctic. Observations of land-based changes in the Arctic cover a wide spectrum, including variations in trends in vegetation, permafrost, river discharge, snow cover, and mountain glaciers and ice caps. In general, these observations present further evidence of the impact of a general Arctic-wide warming trend that is accompanied by high variability from year to year and region to region. They also illustrate the connectivity between various elements of the Arctic system, with conditions being linked to atmospheric circulation patterns, sea ice conditions, and ocean surface temperatures. A combination of low winter snow accumulation and warm spring temperatures created a new record low spring snow cover duration over the Arctic in 2010 since satellite observations began in 1966. Glaciers and ice caps in Arctic Canada are continuing to lose mass at a rate that has been increasing since 1987, reflecting a trend towards warmer summer air temperatures and longer melt seasons. Observations show a general increase in permafrost temperatures during the last several decades in Alaska, northwest Canada, Siberia, and northern Europe, with a significant acceleration in the warming of permafrost at many Arctic coastal locations during the last 5 years. The greatest changes in vegetation are occurring in the high Arctic of Canada and West Greenland and northern Alaska, where increases in greening of up to 15% have been observed from 1982 to 2008. In the Eurasian river drainage basins, the correlation between increased river discharge and decreased summer minimum sea ice extent over the period 1979 to 2008 is greater than the correlation between precipitation and runoff, suggesting that both rivers and sea ice were responding to changes in large-scale hemispheric climate patterns. In other words, the climate is changing. And the contribution of Arctic wildlife to global biodiversity is substantial. The region supports globally significant populations of birds, mammals, and fish. For example, over half the world's shorebirds and 80% of the global goose population breed in Arctic and subarctic regions. Many of these populations experience natural and often dramatic cycles in abundance, switching from periods of growth and decline. Dramatic changes, e.g., sea ice loss in the Arctic's ecosystems, have occurred and are predicted to continue over the next century and may easily disrupt these natural cycles. Changes in physical attributes of the Arctic, e.g., increasing air temperatures, decreasing sea ice extent, are expected to result in winners and losers. Arctic species that have adapted to these extreme environments are expected to be displaced by the encroachment of more southerly subarctic species and ecosystems. Understanding how the Arctic's living resources are responding to these climate changes is essential in order to develop effective conservation and adaptation strategies. Other indicators. Following the summer melt of 2007, there was a record low amount of multi-year ice that has survived at least one summer melt season in March 2008. Since then, there has been a very modest increase in multi-year ice in 2009 and again in 2010. But even with this increase, 2010 had the third lowest March multi-year ice extent since 1980. A strong atmospheric circulation pattern during winter 2010 kept most of the 2 to 3 year old ice in the central Arctic. However, it also moved a lobe of older ice types from the region of old thick ice north of Canada into the Beaufort Sea and the Chukchi Seas. Despite being old and presumably relatively thick, this area of ice did not survive the summer melt period. So again, in other words, the Earth is warming up and the climate is changing rapidly or quickly. And yes, these are all more signs of the end times transition days, which is a continuing day-by-day process. Everything that must change quickly or rapidly. All systems that are not right must change, and for the better, because it is about what kind of planet or world are we leaving to the future generations to come. That is an extremely important question, because this earth must be around for a lot longer. And there are many different signs happening all around the world. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 23. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the peoples, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the peoples shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. 24. I will take you from among the people, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. 25. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and pollution, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. 27. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments, and do them. 28. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. 29. I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I will call for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. 30. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree, and the increase of the fields, but ye shall receive no more reproach of famine among the peoples. 31. Then shall ye remember your own evil ways, and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities, and for your abominations. 32. Not for your sakes do I this, saith the Lord God. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O people of the earth. And all these signs are happening, increasing in frequency, daily.